अभी कौन सा लेक्चर है? जो
Good evening. You are from seeing you for the first time. Today, what do we have to do? Next chapter, no? Which one? I started only you were there.
Yes.
Correct. So I had done half of it and remaining half I have to do. So what to do now? I'll do a recap in short. Wait, I take it there and you tell me from there we are.
physical features of it, and I'm looking at that.
Like in that plateaus, no? Delta.
Yes, sir. I'm even on the peninsular plateau.
What's your name? Siddhika. It's good. You joined with me now, sir?
Yes, it was 16.
Can you all do one thing? You all come this side, so I can sit here and look at you all. Others will be behind. You also there you are sitting today. Last bench. This also might be our last class for this. I think there are some changes in the timetable, so I might be taking English. Let's see. Anyways, you also come this side, no? Come here. So I can see you. You can see now. So major physiographic divisions. So which are they? Himalayan mountains, northern plains, peninsular plateau, Indian desert, coastal plains, and the islands. So northern plains are which? These ones. Himalayan range, here. Indian desert, Deccan plateau, and these are the western Ghats and eastern Ghats. So these are the coastal plains. This is what you can see in green. And then the islands, which is on either sides. So first you have the Himalayan mountains. Here you have 3 parallel ranges. This is the first one, Greater Himalaya. This is the second one, Lesser Himalaya. These are the Shivaliks. Although these are the innermost, they are called the outermost. We're looking at it from the outside perspective. Okay, so these Shivaliks is known as Outer Himalaya, but it is this one, this purple one. Okay, Middle Himalaya, this Greater Himalaya, this. Later, if we have time, you all could write down the important points. So Himachal or Lesser Himalaya or Middle Himalaya, this is the Greater or the Inner Himalaya. Inner means outermost. So northernmost range. Then you have the Himachal or Lesser Himalayas. That is the middle range, okay, south of the Himadri. Then you have the Shivaliks or the outer Himalayas, which are these. And here there is one concept of longitudinal valley. They are known as dunes, like Dehradun. Longitudinal means you can see the mountains here, this side and this side. So these are longitudinal valleys, that's why, lengthwise. So they are known as longitudinal valleys. Okay, so the longitudinal valley lying between the Himalaya and the Shivaliks. Here you have the Shivaliks, okay, are known as dunes between the Lesser Himalaya, that is here, and the Shivaliks. Okay, Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun. Here this is undistinguished. You can see here in this map how it is. Here you have the plains, it looks very plain. So here you have the plains, here you have the mountain ranges. Okay. Then here again, here in this area you have plateaus. That's the Deccan Plateau and all. Then the Himalayan mountains, they are divided as per the rivers. So see in your textbook, you can see on page 155, Punjab Himalaya, Kumaon Himalayas, correct? So it's on the basis of like what is between Indus and Satluj is the Punjab Himalaya. Between Satluj and Kali is the Kumaon. Between Nepal and Kali River and Teesta is the Nepal. And between Teesta and Dihang is the Assam Himalaya. Then Purvanchal or Eastern Hills. Okay, Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. This is the river. Course of the river Brahmaputra. Okay, so the Brahmaputra marks the eastern boundary of the Himalayas beyond Dihang Gorge. See here also you can see in this map also the Brahmaputra. The Himalayas bend sharply to the south. You can see here, this is Great Himalaya here. You have these Naga Hills, Patkai Hills, Mizo Hills, and here you have three, Garo, Khasi and Jaintia, and form the eastern boundary. That is this, east is this side. Then next is the northern plains, this. So this entire part. And how are they formed? By the silt which is brought down by the rivers. So silt is very fertile. So that's why you have a lot of agriculture done over here. You have plenty of water, good fertile soil. So you can do agriculture, and plus they are plain. So it's easier for people to live over here. So these areas are populated. Then the northern plains. Details about the same northern plains. The rivers coming from the northern mountains bring a huge amount of eroded soil which helps in the depositional work. So when it's coming, it's bringing in a lot of, what is erosion? What is weathering and erosion?
The upper layer of, when the upper layer of the soil is worn out or like pulled away from by this water moving fast, that's known as erosion.
Correct, that's erosion. Where it's all not necessarily of the soil also. Now over here, see, you cannot see much of soil because this must be on the higher slope so that those stones are not broken. So you might even have rocks or pebbles which are moving down. So in erosion you will have the moving down of the rocks or pebbles because of wind or water or any of these forces or icebergs. Okay, so that's erosion. And weathering means weathering, the breaking down of the rock. Okay, you have biological weathering, physical weathering, and chemical weathering. So weathering is the disintegration of the rock in its place. Erosion is carrying forward. So, okay, and then there are riverine islands formed. In the lower coast, due to the gentle slope, the velocity of the river decreases. Right? The speed is not as much because you're reaching the you're reaching the bottom of the mountain. So the slope is not going to be so much. So that's why velocity means what? Speed, right? So the speed of the river decreases, which results in the formation of riverine island. So you can see this island formed by the river. Okay, so there will be this river and there will be an island in the middle. So that's a riverine island. Also in the lower coast, the river split into numerous channels due to deposition of silt known as distributaries. There's deposition of silt. Okay, that's the fertile soil which is brought down by the rivers. So because of that deposition, they divide into numerous channels. So that is a distributary. See, this diagram shows you the difference between a tributary and a distributary. What is a tributary? Those are those channels joining to form a bigger river. It's what is tribute? I am giving you a tribute. Means you're giving something, tribute. You're tributing, correct? So in tributary, these rivers are giving their water to the main river. And distributary, what is happening?
They are distributed.
Yes, the main river is distributing its water into numerous channels. Then concept of doab. Do means two and ab means water. So land between two water bodies, okay, or two rivers. So Punjab is also made out of the same name. Panj means five and ab means water. Okay, so that's the Bias and the Satluj river. Then you have the division of the northern plains. So those are divided into Punjab plains, Ganga plains and the Brahmaputra plains. You can see on page 155 down. The northern plain is broadly divided into three sections. The Punjab plain, the Ganga plain and the Brahmaputra plain. Barabar? So which is this? This is the Punjab plain, this is the Ganga plain and this is the Brahmaputra plain. These are the three different parts of the northern plains. So this is first, this is the Punjab. Then you have the Ganga plain, which is between the Ghagra river and the Teesta river. That's how it's divided. Okay, here this arrow shows Teesta. This arrow shows Ghagra. Okay, so between this you have the Ganga plains. Then you have the Brahmaputra plain, which is beyond the Teesta river. Okay, uske aage, this part here. Those are the Brahmaputra plain, third ones. ये भी हो गया था ना last time? We did this, I think, yes. This I did, no, Babar and Khadar and all. So, division of northern plains according to variation. Where is that next page here? The Babar, the Terai, the Bhangar, the Khadar, Kankar, Dunes. So, see this. Here you have, see, you have the Himalayas. Then uske baad, yahan pe you have the Bhabar area. You can see here two differences. Firstly, here the slope is more, and in Terai the slope is less. Secondly, Bhabar, the rocks are bigger. In Terai it is smaller. Why it is bigger here? Because it's not still reached the bottom. As it reaches down, the pebbles will start getting smaller and smaller. Then later it forms into silt when it goes even further. That is this Bhangar and Khadar. This is alluvial soil. Okay. So here you can see this is in the Shivaliks or the outer Himalayas. That is the last third layer. So this is the Bhabar. This is the Terai. Here again, this is the Khadar and this is the Bhangar. Bhangar is old alluvial soil. It is deposited away from the river. Khadar is new. It's deposited near the river valley. See here. This is the river valley. Khadar is nearby. Bhangar is far away. And Khadar is more fertile for growing crops. Bhangar is also fertile. You can grow crops by doing some kind of, you put some fertilizers and all, then you can grow crops. See over here the difference. This is a Bhabar area. Kaun sa wala? Ye wala. Huh? This is Bhabar. You cannot see any sand. You can only see rocks and pebbles. The rivers, after descending from the mountain, deposit pebbles in a narrow belt of about 6 to 18 kilometers in width, lying parallel to the slopes of the Shivaliks, which is known as Bhabar. All the streams disappear in the Bhabar belt. Where do they disappear? हाँ, but किधर चले जाते हैं वो पानी? हाँ, but वो पानी किधर उड़ नहीं जाता है. It looks like it has disappeared because it goes beneath the rocks and stones. Okay, so it disappears in the sense it appears to have disappeared. Then south of the Bhabar belt, that is this part here. Here they again appear because here first of all the slope is also less, and here in Terai it is like this. There are no rocks and stones here in the Terai. So again they appear. South of the Bhabar belt, the streams and rivers re-emerge and create a wet, swampy and marshy region known as Terai. You can see how it is here. Swampy, marshy, wet. Now the forests have been cleared, so very less of this actual land is there. It has been cleared to create agricultural land and to settle the migrants from Pakistan after partition. This is the difference between Bhangar and Khadar. Peninsular plateau, this we did. Here we had stopped. Peninsular plateau is what? This part here. Okay. So you all did a quick recap. I hope you all understood what I said till now. Peninsular plateau, peninsula and plateau. How do you get the name peninsular plateau? What is peninsula? A landmass which is covered by water on 3 sides. That is this. Landmass covered by water on 1, 2, 3 sides. Plateau is what? Tableland. Tableland like structure. Like we saw in that previous one also. How was it? Where is that image? This one here. Here you have mountains which are higher. And you can see from the look of it. Here there are plateaus, but they are of lesser height. Peninsular plateau is a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. Igneous rocks are what? How are they formed? Sedimentary, igneous, metamorphic.
Igneous rocks are like molten the lavas, in the
Yeah.
lavas they are formed.
Correct.
Very high temperature.
Very high temperature. So when that molten lava cools down, so after many years of heat and pressure beneath the crust of the earth, they turn into igneous rocks. Metamorphic is when igneous and sedimentary rocks, when they change their form again after several of years of heat and pressure from the layers on the top, they change into metamorphic rocks. So how was this formed? It was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. We had seen that video. Huh? So what happened in the earlier times? You all must have known that. You all must be knowing that there was a shifting of the plates. Huh? Why do the plates move? The lithospheric plates. Why do they move? How do earthquakes take place? Why do earthquakes take place?
Like when the lithospheric plates move and sometimes when they collide with each other.
Correct. Right. 3 types of collisions. One will be like this, one will be like this, and one will be like this. So why are they moving? You tell, I had told last time. What is below the lithospheric plates?
The core, the mantle.
So how is that? What form is it in?
In semi-liquid.
Semi-liquid or molten state. So below that, the layer of the earth is in semi-liquid state. So that's why it moves. If it's solid, the book is not moving. Why? Because we have a solid surface beneath it. Whereas the lithospheric plates don't have anything solid beneath themselves. So that's why there is movement, collision of plates. So in that earlier times at Gondwana land, the Eurasian plate had separated, and then India had separated from the chunk of landmass that it was a part of, and then it had moved northwards. So it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. Like this was towards the south first, then it drifted towards this side, towards the north. Now, one of the distinct features of the peninsular plateau is the black soil area known as Deccan Tract. Black soil is very good for cultivation of cotton. Cotton soil, black cotton soil. Now, the plateau consists of 2 divisions, Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. Which are the Central Highlands? All these. Malwa, Bundelkhand, Bagelkhand, Chota Nagpur, there's this Shillong. And Deccan Plateau are all these. Deccan Plateau, Karnataka Plateau, Telangana Plateau, and there's this one more, Dandakarnya Plateau. Central Highlands. Lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau. Where is the Malwa Plateau? This part here, okay? So this entire part is the Central Highlands. And this is the biggest, no? Malwa Plateau. The further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. Rajasthan is where? This side. So it merges into the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. Rivers in this region, the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken, southwest to southeast flowing, indicates the slope. Southwest is which direction? This direction. Southeast is which direction? This, correct? This direction. So they are southwest to southeast flowing. So the slope is more towards the southwest. The Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrower in the east. East is which side? This side. So here they are more narrow and here they are broader. As you can see that here you have bigger plateaus, right? Deccan Plateau, Karnataka and the Malwa Plateau. The eastward extension of this plateau is locally known as Bundelkhand or Baghelkhand. That is this towards the east. Baghelkhand and Bundelkhand. The Chota Nagpur Plateau. Where is this? Chota Nagpur Plateau. The Chota Nagpur Plateau marks the further eastward extension drained by the Damodar River. Damodar. This we had done last time. Damodar River is somewhere over here, flowing from here. Okay, so drained by the Damodar River. Then Deccan Plateau. This now we'll be in. Here now we'll go slow because I had done till here last time. Okay. Read one of your. You read Deccan Plateau.
Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. The Satpura range flanks its broad range in the north, while the Mahadev, the Kaimur Hills, and the Maikal range from its eastern extensions. The Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. An extension of the plateau is also located in the northeast, locally known as the Meghalaya and Karbi Oblong Plateau. It is separated by a fault from the Chota Nagpur Plateau and North Pachkar Hills. The Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Western Ghats lie parallel to the western coast. They are continuous and can be crossed through passes only.
So, where are the this we spoke about the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats? Here, correct? Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. But remember, Western. It's not that Western Ghat is here at the edge. Eastern Ghat is also not here at the edge. Where are the Western and Eastern Ghats? थोड़ा gap छोड़ के. It's like this. Like this. And Eastern Ghat is also like this. थोड़ा gap छोड़ के. ये side में क्या है और ये side में क्या है? Here you have the coastal plains. Okay, coastal plains. So the Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the Narmada River. Deccan Plateau is higher in the west. Western is this direction. Higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. Why slopes gently eastwards? Because it is lower in the west. So वो gentle slope हो जाता है. If it's high, it will have a steeper slope. Steep means this and gentle means this. It is separated by the Chota Nagpur Plateau here. Okay. The three prominent hill ranges from the west to east are the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Where are they? They are over here. We saw in that previous map, no? कहाँ पे थे वो तीन? In the east. Here, Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. So that is here this side. The three prominent hill ranges here are the Garo, Khasi and the Jaintia. Then you have the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. Western Ghats here. You can see now this green patch. Those are the coastal plains. So mountains are not absolutely in the corner. Okay, other mountains you can see here. See, this is the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Here you have the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. Here these are the Satpura. These are the Vindhyas. And this is the Aravalli. Yes. This is the Thar Desert here. So the Western Ghats lie on the western margin of the Deccan Plateau. Western margin means the western side of the Deccan Plateau. Here is the Deccan Plateau. The Eastern Ghats lie on the eastern margin of the Deccan Plateau. The Western Ghats are higher in elevation. Elevation means height. So these are higher and these are lower. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters. Okay. And here it is 600 meters. The elevation of these mountains. These are taller, these are shorter. They have a continuous chain of mountains and can be crossed through passes only. You can see this is continuous, and here mountain chains are not continuous and are denuded by the rivers which flow into the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal is where? Eastern side, over here. Here which sea do you have? Here what do you have? Indian Ocean. So this mountain chain, you can see there are gaps. When we are saying mountain chain is not continuous, you can see here there's a gap here again, there's a river flowing there. They are denuded by the rivers, means gap पहले आया कि river पहले आया? River पहले आया. River ने वो mountain को destroy कर दिया, okay, because of its force. So same thing as here, there's a gap here, okay, and then you have it flowing into the ocean. Here also you have. So this mountain chain, the Eastern Ghats, are not continuous and are denuded by the rivers that flow into the Bay of Bengal. No major river has cut across because it's a continuous chain. This has been cut across by major rivers like the Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna and the Kaveri. इसमें से पढ़ना है पहले. Read from here, this peninsular plateau. No, what did we read now? Deccan Plateau we read. Okay, so continue. You read now.
The Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters, as against 600 meters of the Eastern Ghats. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. The Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats.
Orographic rain means what basically? Mountain rain. Rain which is caused by mountains, not mountain rain actually. Rain which is caused by mountains. How is it caused? You have the rain bearing clouds coming towards the mountains. The mountain blocks them and then it gives rainfall, correct? It's not able to. What is the windward side and the leeward side? Windward side and the leeward side? I'll show you here. Windward side is, see, suppose you have the, here. See here, if you have the wind coming from this direction, this side is known as the windward, and this side is known as the leeward, or it is also known as the rain shadow. So what happens is when the wind is blowing, these are moisture laden winds. How do the winds get moisture in them? But from where is condensation happening? It's picking it up when it passes by some ocean, from some water body. So then it has moisture in them. Then what happens? There is force. So the mountain pushes it towards the top, the wind, and the obstruction of the mountain. Then what happens? It moves, but then ultimately it condenses and gives rain on this side. This side also gets rain. This is the leeward side, but it gets lesser amount of rainfall. Okay, so this is orographic rainfall basically. Okay, then.
The Western Ghats are known by different local names. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. The highest peak seen in the Untitled 2,695 meters, and the Joda Pita 2,637 meters.
Mahendragiri
1,501 meters is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Shaded Hills and the Cbse Hills are located in the southeast of the Eastern Ghats.
Then the Aravalli Hills. See the Aravalli Hills, where are they? Here. You read now Aravalli.
Yeah, Aravalli Hills lie on the western and northwestern margins of the peninsular plateau. These are highly eroded hills and are found as broken hills. They extend from Gujarat to Delhi in a southwest-northeast direction. One of the distinct features of the peninsular plateau is the black soil area known as Deccan Trap.
Deccan Trap. Okay. Black soil. Black soil is good for cotton.
This is of volcanic origin, hence the rocks are igneous.
So that's why the soil is rock, because soil is black, because it is formed out of igneous rocks. Then
actually these rocks have denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of black soil.
denuded means same eroded. Okay, then the Indian desert. Here, Indian desert. The Indian desert lies to the west margins of the Aravalli Hills. So here you had the Aravalli Hills, no? So in the western margins, this side here you have the Thar Desert or the Indian desert. It is a sandy plain covered with sand dunes. Sand dunes are what? The waves like formed out of the sand due to wind. This region receives very low rainfall, below 150 mm per year. It has a dry climate with low vegetation cover, right? In a desert, you don't have too many crops growing. You have normally thorny bushes, cacti. These are xerophytic plants. What are xerophytes? They have adapted to live in the desert. Okay? So there will be like how a camel has adapted itself. It stores water. Its feet are padded so that it doesn't sink. It doesn't feel the heat. Its eyes has double eyelids so that the sand doesn't get into its eyes. So same for plants. So instead of leaves, they have thorns because of the leaves there's transpiration, that's loss of water. They don't want to lose water, right? Because they don't get too much of water. So they want to store as much water and they want to save as much water. So it's converted.
Also are very deep.
Roots also go deep. Some of them store water even in there, like you have the cactus or the aloe vera. What the gel inside is what? Water, moisture that it has stored. So low vegetation cover. Luni is the only large river in this area. Barchans or crescent-shaped dunes. See this? Crescent is a crescent moon you all would have seen, no? That's like a smile. So that's a crescent shape. So barchans or crescent shaped dunes cover larger areas, but longitudinal dunes. See, these are longitudinal dunes. Somewhat like what we see at the beach. No? So these longitudinal dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan border. Okay, that's towards this side. Fine. Now we read this. Indian desert.
The Indian desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. It is an undulating sandy plain covered with sand dunes. This region receives very low rainfall, below 150 mm per year. It has arid climate.
Arid means dry.
Arid climate with low vegetation cover. Streams appear during the rainy season. Soon after, they disappear into the sand as they do not have enough water to reach the sea. Luni is the only large river in this region. Berchans. It is a crescent-shaped sand dunes. It covers larger areas, but longitudinal dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan boundary. Berchans are found in Jaisalmer, Rajasthan.
Understood what is a Berchan and what is a longitudinal dune? Then you have the coastal plains. Where what you have in that? You have the eastern coastal plains and you have the western coastal plains. Eastern coastal plains, these plains are located along the eastern coast of India and are bordered by the Bay of Bengal. These. This side. Western coastal plains are located along the western coast. See, coastal plains, I told you, the mountains are not in the corner. वो थोड़ा gap छोड़ के where you in that space you have the coastal plains. These plains, so western coastal, this side, they are located along the western coast of India and are bordered by the Arabian Sea. Then eastern coastal, these plains stretch smoothly from the north to the south with a broad plain and leveled surface. These plains are frequently intersected by mountain ridges. We did know that this side the mountains are lower, this side they are taller. So here there are some obstruction of the mountains. These plains are broader in width. Which plains? Eastern. In width 80 to 100 kilometers. These plains are narrow in width. These are narrowed in width 50 to 65 kilometers. The rivers outflowing into the Bay of Bengal creates deltas. Delta is this. I'll show you all. I'll explain it to you all. The rivers flowing into the Bay of Bengal creates deltas. The rivers outflowing into the Arabian Sea do not make deltas. Eastern coast is regular and smooth, therefore unfit for making ports. The western coast is highly undulating and indented. Okay, ubad-ghabad it is, which led to the formation of harbors. A large number of harbors are located around this western coastal area. Okay, see this difference between a delta and an estuary. We said no. Where did we refer to deltas? This point. Rivers outflowing into the Bay of Bengal create deltas. What is delta? Triangular deposit made by the river at their mouth form a delta. What is it? Triangular deposits made by the rivers at their mouth form a deltas. Deltas are formed in the regions of low tides and coastal plains where you have less amount of water and you have plains. Deltas are fertile lands. They contain a lot of remote. So deltas are fertile lands, okay, because you have a lot of alluvial soil which is brought down by the rivers. Then Ganga, Brahmaputra, Krishna, Kaveri and Mahanadi form deltas. And estuary is what? Sharp-edged mouth of rivers devoid of any deposits. Devoid means nothing, absence of deposits is known as an estuary. So in a delta you will have a deposit, in an estuary you will have no deposits. Regions of high tide and rift valleys witness estuaries. Opposite, here you had low tide and you had coastal plains. Here you have high tide and you have the rift valleys because there water flows fast. Estuaries do not have fertile land. It's flowing water, so you can't get alluvial soil brought down there. Narmada and Tapi river form estuaries. Okay. अच्छा, and इसमें कौन से? I'll put it off. This. Okay. So here you have in the western coast you have the Malabar plain Kannada plain, Konkan plain, and the Gujarat plain. Here you have the Coromandel coast, the northern Sircar. And here you have the Utkal plain. Islands next. Read coastal plains now.
The peninsular plateau is flanked by a stretch of a narrow coastal strips running along the Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal on the east. The western coast sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea is a narrow plain. It consists of three sections. The northern part of the coast is called the Konkan, Mumbai, Goa. The central stretch is called the Karnataka Plain.
Okay, here, see. Which one we did? Konkan.
Yes,
Then the Kannada.
While this southern stretch is referred towards the Malabar coast. The plain among the Bay of Bengal is wide and level. In the northern part, it is referred to as the northern
Sircar. Here, this patch here. Then
while the southern part is known as the Coromandel coast.
Coromandel coast. Then rivers there are Mahanadi, Krishna, Kaveri. Then you have the islands. You have two, Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep. Here you can see Andaman and Nicobar and the Lakshadweep. So first we'll do Andaman and Nicobar. They are in the Bay of Bengal, which lies southeast of India here. They are bigger in size than Lakshadweep. They are formed due to volcanic eruption. They are more numerous and scattered. Means the number of islands in Andaman and Nicobar are more. And they are scattered. बिखरे हुए एक साथ नहीं. These are collectively 572 islands. On the other hand, Lakshadweep, located in the Arabian Sea, which lies southwest, smaller. These are bigger, these are smaller. These are coral islands. This is formed out of volcanic eruption. These are coral islands. You know what are corals? I'll show you one video of that. They are not more in number and not much scattered. As you can see they are all together. These are more scattered. So these are not more in number and not much scattered. These are 36 islands, Lakshadweep. These are only 36 and these are normally 572 because they are smaller islands and more islands and they are more spread across. Then this one last thing, the diverse physical features of India have immense future possibilities of development because of the following reasons. Mountains are a major sources of water and forest wealth. What do we get from forests? We get timber, hardwood, which is used to make furniture, softwood, which is used to make paper. Paper pulp is made, out of which paper is made. What else? Bamboo, right? Fruits, flowers, so many things, medicinal things. Then gum, the acacia, we get gum out of that. You all know what gum? Which? The edible gum. Edible gum कौन सा chewing gum नहीं? जो गोंद बोलते ना उसको? गोंद, you know? Who's a Maharashtrian? Dink. You're a Maharashtrian and you don't know what is dink. Dink ka laddu they make. It's supposed to be very healthy. Acacia gum, it's like hard brown in color. Okay, so that's again got out of the forest. Or you have neem, medicinal uses, so many things. Northern plains are the granaries of the country. Granary means what? Place where grains are stored. So not in terms of storing grains, but because a lot of grains are cultivated over there. That land is fertile. Northern plains kahan pe tha? Just after the mountain ranges, you have the plains. Punjab and all those areas. They provide base for early civilizations. Plateau is a storehouse of minerals, which has played a crucial role in the industrialization of India. Coastal regions and island groups provide sites for fishing and port activities. Read this now in the rest, other part. Islands.
There are two types. There are two groups of islands in India. They are Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It is a long chain of islands located in the Bay of Bengal, extending from north to south. They are bigger in size and are more numerous and scattered than the Lakshadweep Islands. The entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories: Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. They are an elevated portion of submarine and mountains. These island groups are
Elevated portions of submarine mountain means the mountains are submerged and they are the parts which can be seen on the top of the surface.
Yes. These island groups are of great strategic importance for the country. There is a great diversity of flora and fauna in this group of islands too. These islands lie close to the equator and experience equatorial climate and a thick forest cover.
Equatorial climate means what? Near the equator and equatorial. You know about the zones: torrid, temperate, frigid zone. So torrid is the equatorial climate where it is very hot near the equator, between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So there it is very hot. It rains a lot because of more heat. There's more evaporation and more condensation. So क्या पढ़ा हम लोग ने भी? हाँ, वो tropic का what did I? How did we reach that point here?
And last point, there is a great diversity of flora.
हाँ. Correct. Equatorial climate and it has thick forest cover. So such places will have also a lot of forest growing. So if you have forest, you will have a lot of animals. Fauna and flora means plants, plant life, and fauna is animal life. Then Lakshadweep.
The Lakshadweep Islands group lying the Lakshadweep Islands group lying close to the Malabar coast of Kerala. These group of islands is composed of small coral islands. Earlier they were known as Rakhi, Minicoy, and Amended. In 1973, they were named as Lakshadweep. It covers a small area of 32 square kilometers. Kavarathi Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. This island group has great diversity of flora and fauna, and Petty Island, which is uninhabited, has a bird sanctuary. No, India's only active volcano is found on Barren Island in Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Coral polyps are short-lived microorganisms which live in colonies. They flourish in shallow, muddy, and warm waters. They secrete a hard rock-like substance, the coral secretion, and the skeletons from coral deposits in the form of reefs. They are mainly of three kinds: barrier reef, fringing reef, and atolls. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia is a good example of the first kind of coral reefs. Atolls are circular or horseshoe-shaped coral reefs.
Unique features, read. This is that last screen that I had shared with you. This one.
Unique features of each region. The northern mountains are the major sources of water and forest wealth. The northern plains are the granite ranges of the country. They provide the base for early civilizations. The plateau is a
Storehouse.
Plateau is a storehouse of minerals which has played a crucial role in the industrialization of the country. The coastal region and island groups provide sites for fishing and port activities. Thus, the diverse physical features of the land have immense future possibilities of development. Each region complements the other and makes the country richer in its natural resources.
Correct. Okay, that's it. Coral reefs, I told you to, and show you. It means
to series Science. Today we're with Rohan, a marine biologist with a great passion for his work, the mysterious and beautiful world of coral reefs. Now, Rohan, for most of us landlubbers,
we went on a little boat somewhere.
yeah. Which island is this?
जब रंजो रिले पे मिलती है सबसे ज्यादा ग्रोसरीज 19 मिनट में तो फ्रिज में
I think we should explore a few solutions.
ground new suggestions can
And we were fascinated because it's fascinating complicated.
none of us said.
It was lovely site.
See,
I
these
suspect
are all
actually the
corals.
first time that I knew that I didn't want to go to the reefs was when I went to the reefs in the Amazons. And the Gulf Coast reefs are beautiful, but what I saw in the Amazons was absolutely stunning. It was, you put your face into the water and you see this amazing diversity of creatures that then you say, well, what kind of place to Amazon? It's a cylindrate, and perhaps the cylindrate that most people will be familiar with is the sea anemone. The coral, like the sea anemone, has many polyps, and it has, unlike the sea anemone, it has a skeleton of calcium carbonate. And many of these little organisms will form a colony, so it's a colonial organism, which then grows. The skeleton of calcium carbonate grows. And when it grows over very large areas, it creates a biogenic structure which we then call coral reefs.
So that is actually
No.
the skeleton of calcium carbonate, which he said that when there are many, and then it grows further, then it turns into coral reef.
What is right now being done in the Lakshadweep Islands? When did you
Scuba was just about entering into it, and that's when I first saw the system there. What I saw was really quite exceptional, and the dinoflagellate that lives in the coral, that breaks down. And so the coral and the algae live in a tight symbiotic relationship. Where the algae provides
Corals dying due to global warming.
A hawksbill turtle posing for. But look carefully, you should do all I can. Because in simple terms, the death of corals in the Arabian Sea could have an impact on the survival of the Lakshadweep Islands, because coral reefs act as natural breakwaters, which minimize the impact of waves from powerful storms such as global warming. Coral reefs disintegrate and die. The other potentially catastrophic impact of global
damage to India's coral formations in both the Arabian Sea and in the Bay of Bengal. Joining us in this series, some of India's leading scuba divers and conservationists to explain to us why our coral formations stand squarely at the crossroads.
The Lakshadweep chain officially consists of 36 islands and islets. Almost all the atolls have a northeast-southwest orientation, with the islands lying on the eastern rim and a mostly submerged coral reef on the western rim, enclosing a lagoon. The submerged coral reef, besides teeming with life, acts as a protective barrier against choppy seas. Dr. Rohan is one of a handful of marine biologists in India who actually dive the oceans. The Lakshadweep Islands are Rohan's life, and his study of the corals here was the basis of his PhD. For Rohan, one event in 1998, a temporary change in the climate of the Pacific Ocean linked to the El Nino effect, came as a bolt from the blue. It was an event which devastated the corals in the Lakshadweep chain and served as a wake-up call on what happens when seawater temperatures rise.
The El Nino is a very normal phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that people have known for centuries. It's been
El Nino is actually a warm ocean current. So that in the Pacific impacted the coral reefs over.
It happens in a cyclic way about once every 7 to 10 years. However, only 5%.
Understood now, you saw what are coral reefs. Anything else that you would like to see from this chapter? Something you've not got properly or कुछ देखना है addition? Movie देखना है? Okay. So you're done with this chapter. What you will do is just write down some important points. How much time do we have? 15 minutes. क्या करोगे? You don't have so much time that you can write down everything. I'll give you question answers. Okay. I'll mark some. Or if I'll mark that for you, and especially the two of you go through the beginning part, because that I did quite fast since I'd already done it, but you all were not there, so I did a recap for you all. But I still didn't go at a slow speed. Okay, so have you all understood what the overall thing of what I explained or showed you? So एक बार तो भी पढ़ लो the part that we didn't do today, the previous part. Okay, उसमें कुछ doubts है तो clear कर लो. This. In this you will mark previous chapter. What did I give you homework? Did I give you? No. उसमें ये है वर्कशीट. There is no. Do the worksheet and the two maps. Map work is there. So that those two things you will do as homework. Map we had done in class only. So map 1 and map 2. So you completed at home and do the worksheet. There are 6 questions. And over here, the next one, there is no worksheet, but mark it. Physical features of India. You will have these maps also, see? Map 1, 2, these you all do. Okay, and the worksheet is there. So these map 1 to 4 and this worksheet which has 5 questions only. Okay, so do these 5 for homework, and you can do if you want, you can start writing. You both go through the previous part. फिर कुछ doubt है, because we have the PPT in front of us, you can see it and clear it. Okay, पढ़ लो. Because see, in the textbook or in any other book, there are not these many images. So you might, if there is any doubt, I can show it to you so it will be clear. तेरा clear हो गया ना सब तेरे का? If you don't tell me, I'll take it to that page if you want. Next classes, I don't think I have with you. See, this is which branch Sanpadamo. Ninth IC, 10th IC. And geography again, 9th IC and 10th IC. Yours is Cbse, no?
Yes.
So I won't be taking. There is some other teacher who will take. They didn't like me as a teacher, so they said, don't teach, go. No, I have some other subject. So I'll be taking English. I'm basically more of an English. I love English. So I'll be taking English and the geography for the ICSE and the 9th ICSE and 10th ICSE. So they have switched. There's another teacher who was taking English. She'll be taking your geography and तो अभी तक का कुछ भी डाउट है तो क्लियर कर लो. आई एम देयर, यू कैन क्लियर इट. You finished with any test for her? So she's just joined. You all gave any test? Geography, eco?
No, we have only given maths in this and they got the chemistry.
Geography, eco, not done.
No.
Eco, what did I do with your? Only that first chapter, no? And geography, these two chapters, no? So now ideally next you all should be doing eco. Huh? But you see, go as per whatever the teachers come with. She'll come with something in her mind. So, but if it was me, like I would have done. I was planning to do 2 of geography and then again 1 of eco. Today, please. And you all will have regular evening classes from Monday, pata hai na? So you're lucky. These people had been coming every day 7:30, right? 7:30 to no afternoon 2:15, 2:45, no 2:45 to 6 o'clock. So now it will be for how many hours?
4:30 to 6.
To
6.
6.
Yes. 6.
2 hours, no?
6:15, 6:38.
So 2 classes you would have, right? School reopens when?
First.
First only. Which school?
Rakhi.
Sanpada?
Yes.
Achha, Ran starts so soon. So your vacation, you were coming here, ये खत्म हो गया, this school चालू. Your which school?
Jaipur, 6th.
Jaipur. 6th. Jaipur. Yours? Oh, yours is which school? Huh?
APJ.
APJ. Sanpada?
Nehru.
Nehru. Sanpada, there's no APJ. So yours is nice. 2 weeks. What's the for him? First is which day?
Wednesday.
Hardly a few days to be up. So Muniram is has taught you? No.
Which one?
Muniram is from dance. How will you know? You're from APJ. APJ Nehru, I don't know anybody. APJ Khargar, I know a few teachers. Muniram taught you English or SST? Last year?
No.
Who taught you English?
Shilpa. Now it's Shilpa.
And SST?
See. Shilpa was
Last year also and this year also.
Yes.
So should I close this file? It's time, no?
Yes.
Let's close class. कर लेना complete. And better finish all your pending work, not only this, other subjects also. Because once school begins, you have school ka kaam plus this will also go on, so you'll get this also homework. So it's better all your pending work. You'll have to do quite a bit. But yours is on the 5th, no? 6th. So थोड़े दिन तो भी है, so just to try to finish all the pending work, go through the chapters.